Everybody, welcome back to Esoteric Ramblings. I'm Jesse Arnold, and today I'm giving you my reactions to the season and series finale of WandaVision. Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for all the comments on the last video. That was great. Really enjoyed getting to interact with some people. So yeah, thanks for the comments. Keep them coming. Yeah, so getting into WandaVision, Episode 9, the series/season finale. Wow. I just finished it like 5 or 6 minutes ago with my mom. We had to talk about some stuff, get her caught up onto speed with some things, and yeah, I'm still processing. I'm going to have to watch that a couple more times, I think, like I do all the other episodes. But here's my first thoughts. There's not going to be a lot I can say before spoilers. So I will warn you, as always, before I get to the spoilers. But again, fantastic performances from everybody. The production, the design, like, it just feels like a Marvel movie on TV. With the quality, I mean, it has all along, but obviously this is the big finale, the big showdown episode, and it's all there. All the stuff you'd expect to see in a Marvel finale, as far as like the quality of the effects and the designs and all that stuff. It's all there. It's great. And it's another emotional episode. I wasn't quite as emotional as the last episode, which really kind of hit me really hard, but it definitely has its moments in this one. And I'm not saying it's not emotional, it just didn't hit me as hard as the previous episode. So that said, I think, I think Elizabeth Olsen, Catherine Hahn, Paul Bettany all deserve awards of some sort, recognition for their performances in this. Scarlet Witch, I've always had more of a connection to through the X-Men stuff, so I didn't follow a lot of her pre-X-Men storylines, like outside of the X-Men in the Avengers and stuff. So going into the movies with her, I was just excited to have new characters being brought in back in Age of Ultron. And of course, Vision had no idea he was showing up. There was lots of speculations that Phil Coulson might become Vision, which I still think would have been a cool way to bring him back. But I really like how they merged Jarvis into it and got Paul Bettany to play him. Vision I had even less familiarity with going into the movies. So I'm not coming at any of this as an expert in any of those characters, and I'm not really an expert in any of this stuff. I've just been reading it for a long time and really like it, and the only weight I have on any of these things is how much I enjoy or don't enjoy them. So because I even have to look stuff on X-Men. I've been reading it for 30 years, and I get confused about stuff I've read because so many things get changed and altered. I don't know what is the real story half the time. So that said, it was cool to see them brought into Age of Ultron. I really liked the introduction of their characters despite the changing to their origins, and I like how both of them really grew into heroes. Like Vision kind of stepped to it pretty quick, being able to lift Mjolnir kind of straight out of the gate, which that gave me everything I needed to know about him, to accept him. Wanda, by the end of that movie, I think she earned it, that whole speech with Hawkeye in the collapsing building, before they go out, and he's like, if you go out that door, you're an Avenger. And she chose to go out and fight and help protect the people. So it's been really cool to see such a different character arc for a Marvel character in the movies and now the shows, than just the typical heroic one. Of course, we had Tony kind of, with his self-involved stuff and the things, he almost became the villain in a sort, with Ultron and in Civil War and all that stuff. But to see her go through the progression she did to get where she is in the show and what she's doing to those people was just really interesting, and I'm really grateful to Marvel and Disney Plus for doing it, and the writers and directors and actors who made this show happen. So that's about all I can say, I think, without getting into spoilers. So that said, here be spoilers. So if any of you watched my pre-episode ramble from the night before, I threw out what I thought were going to be the things that happened this week. I said that, White Vision was going to have to make his way into town and probably interact with the Construct Vision. Wanda and Agatha were going to face off. Pietro and Monica were going to face off. What's going on with Darcy? All these things. And we pretty much got them all answered. What happened to the boys? It's not so much, and I was right, because I don't think my guesses were that grand of a leap to get to. Not that the show is predictable, I think I was taking the safe road and just the logical steps, and it was pretty accurate on some of them, most of them, I think, but the way they did them was great. I really liked the standoff between Agatha and Wanda, just the progression of the level of their fight, and how you get to see Wanda. She goes back to the first tricks we see her doing, where she's putting the nightmare, like she does to Tony at the beginning of Age of Ultron with Agatha. And just the banter between the two of them, and just how relentless Agatha is. Like, Catherine Hahn is just incredible in that role. So most of the episode follows their fight, their confrontation. The Vision fight was actually way cooler than I was expecting. The Visions fight, as they do encounter each other, but it didn't happen the way I expected it to. But it was still really cool, because you've got the White Vision coming in, and he goes straight for Wanda, and it's almost this tender moment, and then he starts trying to, like, crush her skull, which, if he had been in full, which makes me think there was, so he approaches her, he clearly knows who she is informationally, but there's no emotional connection to her. And, he puts his hand on the side of her face. There's this kind of connecting moment. Then he puts his other hand up and he starts to crush. And he's like, they told me you were powerful. And he starts crushing her. And then other Vision comes in and starts confronting him. But I think there must have been something in the White Vision that prevented, because he is a very physically strong character. He should have been able to just, not that I wanted him to do it. So I think there was something inside that was preventing him from fully committing to the act he was trying to perform. And then the two Visions fight. And it's cool because they go back to the library, which is, where Vision went, I think it was in episode 2, for the neighborhood watch and everything. And they just have this, and it's all about learning and books. So the two of them are in there, and then they have this philosophical debate as they're, like, kind of at a standoff with their powers, which I thought was really neat, because in Star Wars you've got their ability to control the Force, and then they pull out their lightsabers, and who's better. In this, it's like, all right, we're pretty evenly matched. Let's talk about this. And it did have some Ultron vibes, but I liked the way it played out. And they have this talk about Theseus' ship, and how it's one in a museum, and they replace the boards occasionally. So if they replace all the boards, is it still the original ship? Or if they replace the boards without the rot, is it still the original ship? It's like, no, it's not. Yes, they're both the same ship. It's one of those kind of conversations that melted my brain in college, that I'm going to blame my friend Brendan. If you're watching this, you made me dumb with that conversation, and with the whole color blue thing, and I've never recovered. So 20-something years later, and it's still your fault. I could have been somebody. But I'm not Vision. I'm not an all-knowing android, synthezoid, robot thing. So, yeah. It's just really cool. And then you see White Vision just takes off. No, before that, our Vision, the full Vision, gives him access to his memory. So he has all the knowledge of the past events, because it is the Vision body that encountered and did all the things he did, but he doesn't have the Mind Stone anymore. He doesn't have the personality. And our Vision does something to him. He touches his head like he did to the residents in Westview, reactivates his memories, and you see this thing where the energy, people are saying it's an arc reactor, I don't know, could be, it turns yellow, and then it washes back to blue, and it's like, oh gosh, are they going to start fighting again? and then it cuts down to his face, and the kind of blue spectral eyes that he had turn into more pupil-like eyes like the regular Vision, and he takes off. So White Vision is out there in the world somewhere. And then, let's see, what is it? So the kids, Wanda sends the kids, tells them to go hide as she's fighting Agatha. Monica gets to deal with Pietro, and he's just chilling in his room, and it's like a total like college stoner dude's room, and he's still exhibiting his Quicksilver powers. And then they have a little confrontation, and Monica realizes with her powers that Agatha's controlling him with this beaded necklace that's all glowing purple. She rips that off, and he snaps back to himself. So, big spoiler, Ralph is Ralph Boner, which I think is a great reveal. He wasn't some evil person in disguise. He was just another citizen of Westview that was under Agatha's control instead of Wanda's. And he's just some schmucky college dude or whatever. Not that college dudes are schmucky, but like he just had that like stoner hippie vibe of whatever. It was funny. I enjoyed that kind of reveal. We never see what happens to Senor Scratchy, so he could still be someone else. He could be Mephisto. Big spoiler alert, we don't meet Mephisto in this episode. If we do, we don't know it. We don't get introduced to really any new characters. We don't meet, at least we don't get a reveal of who Monica's aerospace engineer is, so I'm wondering if that's teeing up for something to be revealed later down the road. Yeah. So the kids are safe, hiding, and eventually they come out to help because they feel Wanda's in trouble. And they actually team up with Monica to take care of Sword, because Wanda starts to open the hex to let people out, because she gets confronted by all the citizens as Agatha unleashes them from the spell, and they're not happy. So she's like, fine, leave. So she opens the barrier to let them out, and Sword comes pouring in. So you've got Hayward and a bunch of soldiers coming in. So Monica and the boys have to take care of them, which is a really great moment. And Darcy gets, she is not in a lot, but she gets a really great final scene. I won't spoil that. That's just worth getting to see yourself. And I won't get into all the details about Wanda and Agatha's fight, but it's pretty cool, again, how they progress through the levels of magic and the different things and all the exposition that comes out in it, which a lot of people hate exposition. I love learning more about characters. And sometimes it's clunky, sometimes it works. I feel it really works in this one, and it's just great as they try to keep trying to one-up each other, and the whole resolution of that is great. I won't say what happens to Agatha. I'll let you watch that for yourself. But Wanda does win in the end, and she gets her Vision, and the boys. They go home, and she releases the hex, and it slowly starts moving back in, and people start kind of snapping out of it. Everything goes back to the way it was before we revealed last episode what she did, and they have this really sweet farewell to the boys as they tuck them in for the night, and then they're down in the living room. That's what you saw on the trailer with them looking out the window together, is the hex closing in on the house, and they have this really beautiful conversation with each other, and it just really captures a lot of the relationship. And that scene and the scene with the boys were the two that really hit me this week. Yeah, Wanda, or Vision, asks, what he is, and she's giving this speech about what he is, and one of the things she says is, she's like, "You're all my sadness and my hope, but most of all, you're my love." And I know, like, I'm a cheesy guy, I'm a sappy guy, that sort of stuff gets me, and that really got me. And just the performance and the delivery behind it was really good. So, yeah, and you see Vision disappear, and as he's disappearing, he's like, we've said goodbye before, you know, we'll say hello again. And he's like, and who knows what I'll be next time. So so White Vision's out there with his restored memories, and there's that tease of regular Vision coming back at some point, so we'll see what happens there. And the series ends with the hex is down, the town's back to normal, Wanda is leaving, and she and Monica have a nice interaction, and then Wanda goes off to the way the shot is set, I'm not trying to overread into it, but she's leaving Westview as the sun is setting in the west, and she flies out of camera kind of the opposite direction. So I think she's heading northeast out of New Jersey towards New York City. I think she's going to go find Doctor Strange to learn how to use her powers. So that's how, because obviously we know she's been said to be in the Multiverse of Madness, so I think we might come into that movie with her seeking him out for training like he sought out the Ancient One, or they might already be in a mentor-student relationship when that movie starts. That's just my guess. And we get to cut back to a scene with Monica in the town dealing with the fallout of everything, and her and Jimmy get reunited, and she gets called in to see someone in the theater. And this is the cool big thing. The agent that calls her in, they walk in, she looks around, and the agent turns into a Skrull. And says, oh, an old friend of your mother's has learned that you're grounded, and he'd like to meet with you. And Monica says, where? And the Skrull just points up at the sky. Monica smiles. So I think that's all a nod back to Captain Marvel and Nick Fury saying that, you know, he could meet them up in space. She could meet them up in space when she learns how to shine like her Auntie Carol. So I think we're setting up for Captain Marvel 2 or something with Monica on her own. We're setting up for the Multiverse of Madness. And okay, so I was just informed that I missed a bit of the end credits. So there's two end credit scenes. There's one in the middle and one at the very, very, very end, which I missed. So yeah, I'm not going to spoil what it is. I just don't really know what to make of it, and it might alter some of my comments from earlier in my video. So yeah, not sure what to make of it, but there it is. It was really cool. I'm now even more confused and excited for what's to come. So yeah, there it is. Whatever's going to happen with Vision out there. So yeah, that's my ramble for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. WandaVision's a wrap. Next week is a behind the scenes episode for the show, so I don't know if I'll do a review to that, because I mean, behind the scenes are always cool. There's always fun stuff to see, but so I'll probably not do a WandaVision episode next week. Hopefully we'll be watching Raya and the Last Dragon this weekend, so I might have a review for that up soon. But then Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'll be back with those in a couple of weeks when that starts up. In the meantime, have a great weekend. Enjoy WandaVision. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. And thanks for watching. Ramble on.